Welcome into the Mother Concept podcast. We are so excited. Well, we are so excited, but right now you have just Haley giving you a little bit of a sneak peek or maybe a debrief, a post peek, depending on your listening order, into Peter Pan. And I am thrilled to start to delve into my big why, my second big why for advocating that this is one of the seminal, one of the key, one of the central motherhood classics for our time, for our age. And that the offering of Peter Pan is 3 words: rich inner world. Rich inner world. I love this book because of its playful portrayal, right? Showing of the rich inner world of Mrs. Darling. And I think there are a few books that glorify the playful imagination of a mother and its impact on the rest of the family. So I see the rich inner world of a mother as being so key that I have tried to find every other classic great piece of writing on planet Earth that could possibly continue to capture more of what J.M. Barrie captures in this work. Because I don't want 6-year-olds. I don't want 6-year-old children who know the answers. I want 60-year-old children someday when they are grown up who are still looking. So because I have that vision and because I have arrived at this place in my own personal life that I want a 60-year-old who is still looking, I have had to work backward and say, what are the things I've had to reflect and wonder, what are the things that I do that dampen my own inner world, that dampen the inner world and the inner questioning of my own kids? And what is it that I was able to get from Peter and Wendy that helped me value the rich inner world, recognize the need for it, and also recognize where I was going wrong? And I think it's simply in her portrayal. In her, J.M. Barrie's a man. I think I get a general sense that the Darling children are not like Peter, though they all have decided they are going to Neverland and they don't need to stay in the nursery, and they don't need, well, they do need a mother, and they just want Wendy to be the mother, and they feel like they can go to Neverland as long as they have Wendy. So we have, in Peter and the Darling children, we do have that they all have a shared sense of adventure and they all have a sense of fun. But Peter is actually less brave than the Darling children. And this is in large part because every time Peter has made a decision not to need a mother, and in doing so, if he had a mother with a rich inner world, he wouldn't be connecting with that and getting what he needs to develop his own. And his world is rich to a certain extent. His sense of adventure is great to a certain extent, but he doesn't have the trump card, which the Darling children have. And because of this, their inner world is a little bit more rich and allows them to learn and connect in ways that Peter cannot. And so, as you enjoy this book, I want you to understand, or if you don't enjoy this book, as you enjoy this content and our celebration of Mrs. Darling, understand that the rich inner world is like a well, okay? It is full of, well, of richness, but but what I meant to say was it is the source from which she draws. And let's talk about what a mother draws from this well to get. So she's getting a few things out of it. One is that from a rich inner world, you can pull out buckets of refreshing, cool happiness and wonder and connection. So because Mrs. Darling chooses not to busy herself with so many adult concerns, that she wouldn't have time for those kids. Instead, she is choosing, I'm going to practice having a rich inner world, and I'm going to practice things for the purpose of themselves. And I'm going to draw happiness, wonder, and connection into my life, into my body, into my children's bodies, because I've chosen this practice. Okay. The second thing that we see, because of her ability to draw from that well, that rich inner world, is and I've loosely mentioned this already, but the second thing is what we would call in modern psychology to be positive adaptation responses. So we see moments in the book Peter and Wendy where Mr. Darling loses his temper, or where a child is in distress. Someone is not doing well. And she is able to maintain her calm and perhaps offer solutions, offer support. She's so right there, we have examples of um, she is making sure that she's not so thirsty that she can't that she can't contribute to the home, to the functioning of the home, to making the home a learning environment. And I don't love the phrase positive adaptation responses. It's very long, but the way I would describe it as, well, even if we just said adaptation, right? She's adaptive, right? She's looking for opportunities to represent sanity, to represent joy, to represent connection, and to help people feel like, okay, when mom is here, or when my wife is here, I have love and support and I can calm down. And so in that sense, she's representing how to handle stressful things. And she's also helping, especially her young developing children, think through situations and continue to ask questions, because she is not telling them, oh, don't ask me that question now, I don't have time. She's telling them, we will jump into your questions, and your questions matter, and I value childhood. So we get a sense that she does value their curiosity, their natural curiosity. And because she does that, she's fostering it. She's helping it grow. She's essentially watering their curiosity. And so she is setting them up, if they continue to choose, she is setting them up to be the 60-year-olds who are still looking for answers, not because they haven't found out what 2 plus 2 is, but because they're in calculus and they have exceeded all that humanity can offer them. And now they're innovating. Now they're pushing the boundaries on what can be known. And so there's something wonderful about Mrs. Darling. And I have gone on for quite a while now, but I hope that this gives you a sense of the value of cultivating a rich inner world for yourself as a mother, because it is a well that is then going to help with the two things. And I'm going to repeat those one last time. It will be a source of happiness, wonder, and connection. And it will also help those around you be adaptive. So thank you. Enjoy the content, and I wish you the best.